I think... Yeah, we should be live. We should be live.
Since there's always a couple of second
okay.
lag. And I think we're live!
Oh my god, hi.
Hi, hi, hi.
Hi everyone.
Hello everyone. I'm gonna post the link in Discord.
Okay.
So, at everyone, we're streaming smiley face.
Oh, there we are. We have 7 viewers.
Perfect. Post the link.
Alrighty.
Hi everyone, welcome to the
Danny.
stream.
Hello Charles. Pop out the chat.
And I can see the stream and the chat on my end as well on YouTube.
Yay.
Awesome. Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. Let us know how our volumes are and stuff like that. So hi Danny, hi Charles, hi Swift.
Bob Witz is here.
Hi Carl.
Hello Bob.
Hi Bob. Oh my god, Bob can finally make a stream! Yes!
It's the one we're not really in, unfortunately.
Oh, I should probably post this on Twitter as well. Let's do that.
Nope.
Post it on Twitter too.
Hello.
Hi Bjorn. Hi Restlin. Hi Nostalgic. Nice to see everyone as well.
I'm just going to... pad. Hello. Bottom 100.
This is cool. You have the chat on screen with all the emojicons.
Yeah.
It's very cute. Oh no, a spreadsheet? Are we doing data extraction? So if you know, it's my day off.
Let's make this a little bigger. There we go.
Hi everyone, by the way, if you're new, don't be shy, feel free to say hi. Let us know how you found this channel, how you stumbled upon this non-covenant. I'm sure it was Reborn lore, but, you know.
Oh, we know some people did.
It's true.
Alrighty then, okay.
Hello, hello.
Oh no.
Hi, Ego.
Alrighty, hang on.
So I think we can start in a couple of minutes. Waiting
Yeah,
for
I
a
think we
couple more
can. I think we
people.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can start now because frankly, like,
Okay.
it's just fucking
Okay.
text. It's just fucking text. Okay. All right. So, what this is this is the Bloodborne Alpha network test.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the params file. Some people have like streamed the actual game. I can't do that because I don't have a jailbroken PS4, sorry. So what I'm doing is I'm interested in like bits and pieces of data. So we're going to go through the params file. We're going to go through the map data so you can see changes to the maps. We won't actually be able to play the maps, but we will be able to like go in. We'll be able to look at the maps basically like we're in a 3D viewer, but we just can't play the game. There's some changes there, not many. And we'll be able to look at some models, and then when it's done, we'll be able to look at that low poly Yarnum that I made. That's based on an old file. I was hoping this would have very, very old files in it. The problem is the network test literally is just Central Yarnum. And because it's just Central Yarnum, it doesn't have any of that cool shit in it because that's all in Hemwick.
No.
Yeah, because Hemwick was the first area that they made. And because of that, all the cool shit, like the old low poly Yarnum and everything, it's technically in the Hemwick map. This doesn't include the Hemwick map. It's set. Well, this is interesting actually because it's Central Yarnum, and then it's got like the Havoc collision data for Forbidden Woods, but no actual Forbidden Woods maps. So you might be able to get. I don't know anything about really extracting Havoc data, so for all I know, there'll be something in there that we can look at. But I wasn't able to get anything out of it. So we're going to start with the params file. So the first thing I want to look at is we're going to attack NPC. So you know, Sin, those bells that you find in the Chalice dungeons.
Yeah.
So those bells, when you ring them, what they do is they just call every enemy in the area up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, not terribly useful. It's fair to say.
It's the opposite of useful.
Yeah, you would not want to do that in any situation. Those bells, they are called internally. They're like bell for the gathering of people. Basically, that's the name.
Oh, so it's like a ceremony bell. Like, hey everyone, let's do a ceremony.
Well, kind of. But like, you know how we were like, these aren't very useful. Why would you want these? Okay.
Yeah.
So right now we have. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to like you. If you're in very HD, you might be able to see this, but like you can see here, that's where those bells are. They're called bell for dungeon gathering of people, and they all have a radius. So you can see like that one's 5 meters, 10 meters, 15 meters, 20 meters. They all reach out differently. Yeah. So I was like, okay, that's interesting, and I scrolled down a bit, and those bells also exist. They exist in Central Yarnum.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I remembered, in the Project Beast trailer, there was a bell that we didn't understand the point of. This should work.
Wasn't it is it a smaller bell? Refresh my memory.
It's a bell. It's attached to one of those statues that, like, when you pull... Like, you know the statues they used to hold the lights in Central Yarnum?
Uh-huh.
It's stuck to one of those. And here it is.
Okay. Oh. What does all of this mean, Sophie?
This is from the Project Beast trailer. Huh. So I'm kind of assuming that like the point of this was that if you rang it, it would summon all of the enemies in the area like to that spot, so you could sneak by. It's like a stealth thing. Because if you look, yeah, because like those areas, they're full of enemies that either guard or patrol. And like we talked a bit about this before, that like there's some parts of the game that seem like they're designed almost like a survival horror game.
Yes.
With stealth being a big focus, but there's really no like reason to do that because you can just kill everything. But I think that like at some point they were more focused on it being a stealth survival horror thing, and it looks like these bells existed, the bells that you rang in the chalices, in the waking world in Central Yharnam, and you could use those. If you rang them, if they worked the same, and it looks like they did work the same, if they worked the same, that would summon all of the enemies to that area. So if you imagine, like, this looks like it's kind of like roughly where the, it's on like those round plazas out the front of Cathedral Ward. You know where the monocular is? It looks like it's there.
Interesting.
Yeah, or like it might actually be near Erden Chapel. I can't quite make it out. But basically, like that bell. If you imagine there's a whole lot of church servants patrolling and you ring it, they would all run to the bell. So there'd be a way to get by them. So that's interesting. So I think we finally figured out why the fuck this exists, because this was in Project. This thing was in Project Beast, and it's not there anymore. Well, no, it's not entirely, because that asset, the bell asset, like not the whole thing, just the. Sorry, I need a better color. Just the bell.
Yeah. That
is still used. It's used above some of the doors in Central Yharnam and Cathedral Ward. You see it hanging over them, but it look like you can see there. It's got like a little rope you could ring, and it's on ground level, so you'd be able to use them. So
very cool.
Yeah. So the other thing about this build is that it's built over Dark Souls, and if we go down, you can see like there's again, I'm sorry, but you probably, unless you have it very, very HD, you can't see it. But like we've got like there's references here to like Izalith, Basilisk, Pinwheel.
Oh wait,
here. Yeah.
What are the reference to Pinwheel and stuff?
Oh, it's this is the params file. And what the params file is it's just like the data for just the things that happen. So what I'm in now is I'm in NPC attacks.
Okay.
So like, and as everything is labeled, so as I'm going through it, because the bell is an attack, like we've talked about this before, it's like the music box. Like the bell's technically, the bell is technically an AoE attack that just draws things toward you. That's why the music box is weird. Like if you use it, it'll like break things and stuff. But yeah. So I'm here. This is like they're all labeled. So we're going down. It's like Izarisu. Clearly that's Izalith, Basilisk, and then you've got like Sun in Howery, which is Pinwheel, Dragon, Zombie, Maggots, etc. So there's a lot of data in here that is just like that is just Dark Souls. So it's hard to, when you go through, if you find something that looks significant, there's a good chance it's actually just from Dark Souls and you didn't recognize it. It's not great. So all right, something that, you know, the drowned corpses we talked about?
Yeah.
So they are they look like beasts, but are they?
Ooh.
So they are straight up called water corpse beast.
So they are beasts.
Well, I don't know if they are now, but it looks like when the asset was designed, they wanted them to be beasts.
Interesting.
They straight up call them water. And there's an interesting one here, which is it's water corpse beast, and then it says curse spitting. And I think that's just like their projectile vomit attack, but it calls it curse, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keeping going down, I promise interesting things will show up later on.
Well, this is interesting.
It's okay. I'm aware that like I think it was like Drop Off actually just streamed the alpha. So where are we going? So where's our fanatic? Here he is. Okay. So for people who don't know, like the reason the Erden Chapel Dweller looks kind of weird is because Erden Chapel Dweller, that model is designed for an enemy that was called the Demon's Fanatic.
Yeah.
And the Demon's Fanatic data is still in here, obviously. And looking at it, we know the Demon's Fanatic has, like, you can still actually encounter Demon's Fanatic in the chalices if you mod them. You can't find him normally. But if we look into this, you actually get like there's references to specifically like Demon Fanatic, like here's all the different moves Demon Fanatic does. And then you have one that's actually like Demon Summoned and Demon Strengthened. So I'm wondering if like they the thing is that the mad ones in Hamwick, the like ghost ladies, they're called Insanity Demon. So I'm wondering if like the fanatics are actually the things that summoned those creatures initially, rather than the witch.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't think there's data for like quote unquote demons. Because if you've seen like Remove Chalice stuff, there's like straight up like demon souls looking demons with like horns and fire and everything. Those don't seem like they got very far, but the fanatic does. So I think the fanatic may have summoned the mad ones to start off with, because you know the witch wasn't the boss to begin with. Oh yeah, people saying good to see us back. We've recorded a bunch of new stuff. It's just not out yet.
It's in the process of being edited.
Edited. Yeah.
Since we're putting extra good edits on that stuff, it takes a little longer.
Also, like we used to have like a buffer of stuff we had done, and then when Richie left, we had to get all of it out. That's why a bunch of like hour-long things came out at once, because it's like they just had to be out by the 31st. So what else are we looking for? Okay, this is like not super interesting, but 87 1875. Oh no, I've lost it. I think I've typed the wrong number. Never mind. Basically the oh no, I'm looking at the wrong. Sorry. The confusing thing is you have like the number of the cell, and then you have the ID, and they're not necessarily the same. Yeah. So sometimes I've written down the cell, sometimes it's the ID. Let's go. Where are we going? 1875. So this is, you know, those Cainhurst spirits, like the different kings.
Yes.
They are all in here, and they all have their own attacks.
Wow.
That's interesting, because I always wondered what the deal with them was, because it's like this thing is just sort of wandering around. We knew it could move and it had weapons and stuff, but like I wasn't sure what it did. I don't know how you would actually have fought them. I don't know where you were going to fight them. But, yeah, all the two different kings, they're called, like, King of Evil Spirits and King in Blue. They straight up have attacks. You can see them here. It's like a dash with sword raise, sword combo, kicking, stab, pounce. If we go down to, like, the Blue King, if you remember, has, like, he's holding, like, an orb, and if you go here, there's references to, like, orb combo. Yeah, so that's all here.
Cool.
What else is there here? What this also did was it helped us understand like some of the names that we used, because we would see references to things like Spawn of the Moon or like Storm Beast, and we wouldn't be entirely sure what it was referring to. But you can see, maybe you can't. Again, if you have a very, very high res display of this, you can see next to it they all say C and then a number, and that stands for character. So like, here's Ligarius. Ligarius is all his attacks have C2320 next to them. So I know from looking at this, Ligarius is character 2320. So because I can find here like Spawn of the Moon and Storm Beast and stuff, I can just look up what character that is and it tells us. So Spawn of the Moon is Ebrietus, and we used to think Storm Beast was Pal. Storm Beast is actually the Abhorrent Beast. It's the thing the beggar turns into. Oh, Bob, I found some stuff about Snuffles. Don't you worry. There's a lot of Snuffles content later on.
That's beautiful.
Okay, so let us go down to the very, very interesting one. So we've wondered, like, what the fuck where is it written? Maybe it's on another folder. There's references to winter lanterns having kind of a description here. I'll find it later on.
Okay.
So this is all Ebrietas. Oh no, sorry, no. This is Ebrietas. This is Ebrietas. Yeah, this is all Ebrietas' attacks. We can see she's called Spawn of the Moon, and she's C2510, which I think is still her internal number. What I'm looking for here is there is a reference to. Here we go. Well, the problem is the word messenger is used so much that it's hard to find the right. We'll bring it up later on. So. Oh, okay. So here's a question. You might be wondering, like, maybe zoom the spreadsheet. The problem is I don't really. I have to use the whole thing. It's hard to do. Excel doesn't like being captured. I might be able to do it this way. Hang on, if I do like. Okay. Properties. Oh no, I've made disappear. Come back. And top. Okay, I'm just gonna have to try and make it so I can see like which one I'm actually clicking on, so it'll be these ones. Okay, good. That's better. Okay, so I am currently looking for the students in Bergenworth. So they're like 2-6, I think. They're down here. So if you're ever wondering, like, you know how they drink the stuff and they spit it out? And there are all those arguments over, like, well, it's Quicksilver, they're injecting Quicksilver into the... So no, this is a lot of, like, I'm being fucking vindicated by this thing, and I'm not going to let you forget it, okay? So...
I'm happy.
Okay. So, you might, like, you know how they drop Quicksilver, right?
Uh-huh.
And people were like, well, are they drinking mercury? And I was saying they're probably just, like, it's just slime.
Okay.
Like, because, like, you know, the spiders drop it, and, like, emissaries drop it and stuff, and, like, not, I don't think emissaries drop it, but, like, the kin drop it. Like, kin of the cosmos will drop, because it's just, like, an overall sign that, like, you know, you've got, like, some sort of, like, eldritch goo in you.
Okay.
Okay, so it fucking says exactly what it is here, and it is. Let's just expand this.
Anticipation is killing me.
Anticipation. It is called. It calls it basically Namakuji solution, and Namakuji means slug. So they're drinking slug juice.
Slug juice. Now, Sophie, let me ask you.
Yes.
What's better, slug juice or big one energy?
Oh, hang on, no, wait a minute. Now I think I've done this wrong. I think they might all be called slug. Hang on, let's go.
Oh my god.
Let's go, hang on. They might be called slug students and I've done this wrong.
Oh no, it's okay.
No,
we'll
no,
cut
no,
it
no,
out.
no, 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 it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So basically, all the students, where did I put it? It's over here. Slug solution. This is why I didn't want to zoom in, because it becomes a pain to manage. So that references them drinking. It says it's like basically like slug liquid or slug juice.
Uh-huh.
So there we go. They're drinking slug juice.
Completely normal. So
Yeah.
let me ask.
Yep.
Is this sorry? Is this like means like it? You know how like let's say a slug passes by and leaves a trail,
Yeah.
and you just pick up that trail and drink it, or do you put slugs in a blender?
I think we'll need to make a video trying to explain why.
Perfect.
Amazing. Yeah, they're drinking slug juice. So all those, like... I think we can now just put to one side the recurring argument about, like, what is Quicksilver?
Okay.
Because, like, it's clearly just, like, a way of representing, like, I have... Like, just like saying, like, MP. Like, you should not be trying to take it, like, literally seriously as Mercury. I think you just have to take it as, like, this is just a way of representing, like, how much of your blood is, like, eldritch.
Do they talk about Mercury in any of these things?
Well, it's called Quicksilver is Mercury.
Yeah, but like,
I think they call them.
Mercury?
Well, I think they call them hunter bullets in this.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, so let's move on to, this is the equipment menu. Nothing super fascinating here. What I'm interested in here is the names, because you know how they have names like, you know, there's two things called the hunter set. Like, one has a grey coat and one has a black coat, and there's like the Yarnum hunter set and there's something else hunter set. This actually breaks them up, and you get senior hunter, junior hunter, and city hunter.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I'm ASMR. I'm getting a little better at the voice thing. It's like, it's coming and going, but we'll get used to it. Yeah, David's saying, like, you know, yeah, Mercury is like, it's symbolic of a lot of things, and like, it makes sense. It makes sense in the, like, if you're hunting werewolves with a silver bullet, that makes sense. Because it's like silver bullets, and then it's like, oh, they're made of mercury and they mix with their blood and like that. But the fact that like it doesn't differentiate between like bullets and like just weird slime. Like, you use the bullets to power things like a Call Beyond and the Phantasm Shell and stuff. Mm-hmm. And those, clearly you don't load bullets into those. So I think you just have to like accept that like it's just a very abstract representation of like how much stuff is in your blood that is maybe not blood, that is like some eldritch thing, basically.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, there's just reference. These are just the names. And you have like senior hunter, junior hunter, city hunter, hunter. This is next. We've got a set called Pilgrim Set, and I don't know what that is. That might be the Madman set. I'm not sure.
I feel like it sounds familiar.
There's pilgrims in Bloodborne. They're an enemy, but like there's references to like the pilgrims. This pilgrim set, I don't really know.
Sophie, I'm having memory loss. What does the pilgrim enemy look like?
It's the really tall, glowy man.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. They're in here. They're called Moonlight Ghost.
Oh, yeah. That's so cute.
Oh, your last protagonist is here. Hello.
Oh my god! Oh no, Sophie, act smart! Oh, hello.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, so last protagonist is like senior is high class, junior is low class. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't someone else extracted these. And like there's like an auto translate thing on the other side, and there's actually some really offensive stuff in there. I hope we don't accidentally scroll by.
Oh no.
Because actually here's a good example of that. Where are we? This is one of my favorite examples of it. Okay, yeah, there we go. There's like some Islamophobia there. Crazy evil Muslim. No. Because it's trying to learn it, like with an AI, and there's so many like just shitty things on the internet that it picks up. Here's what I wanted to show. Boondock Saint. So Undead Pilgrim. Okay, cool, thank you. So Boondock Saints. This is the Executioner set. But every single fucking time, you do any Google auto translate stuff with Bloodborne, it will turn the word executioner into Boondock Saints, because the movie The Boondock Saints in Japanese is called The Executioners.
Oh my god!
And the fucking AI translation thing has learned that executioner means Boondock Saints.
That's kind of beautiful. Yeah. I saw that movie a long time ago. It was cool.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff here. With sets like the Jack the Ripper set, that is, see, like here's the Executioner set, the Boondock Saints set, and then down the bottom you have the Jack the Ripper set.
What's the
And
Jack the Ripper set?
okay,
What
so
does that
the
mean?
Jack the Ripper set is what Alfred is wearing.
Oh,
When he kills Annalise.
that is very fitting.
Yeah, so like he's normally wearing the Executioner set, but then when you meet him after he kills Annalise, he's covered in blood. And like
Yeah.
what that's a separate armor set called the Jack the
Oh
Ripper
wow.
set. Yeah, so that's what that is. And like
Okay.
you can see, where are we going? That's Annalise's stuff, their vampire princess head and body.
Huh.
Yeah, there's the doll stuff. I hate that I don't know why it says like evil Muslim. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah. Wish I'd deleted that before we started. Oh well. So let's go to this is the goods. This is the interesting one. Because this is like the item table. So okay, let's go here. I might actually just change the cropping so you don't see. Actually, no, fuck it. You can read it all. So okay, we were talking about like bullets before.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't show it because of the cropping. Basically, this has bullets in it. There was an item early on that was literally like a bullet reload. It's not Quicksilver. Like you this is back when it used to be. It used to be that you had like you had magic and you had bullets and they were separate. They didn't conflate them until later on. And it straight up has bullet reloads, and then you had a magic menu like in Dark Souls basically.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I was getting at before. This is good because this has the souls in it. So, basically, Bloodborne in the old version used to have. Oh, Leon, Jack the Ripper, Crowfeather. The Crowfeather set is, I think that's Brandon's Blood Crow. I think it's called Brandon's set. What is lanthanum? Lanthanum is just lantern. That's just the little lantern you buy and attach to your belt. So this is back when the game had souls, like your standard Dark Souls, Demon Souls thing. And this has in it, here's the souls, they left them in. And you can see they just have like soul, like medium, small, large, maximum. But hello Hevel. So what they left in is the boss souls. They're all in here.
Huh.
So I have to keep checking like what you can actually see and what you can't. So Gascoigne's soul we know. Interestingly, Gascoigne seems to be the only character whose name didn't change at any point. They just really like the name Gascoigne. So there's Gascoigne's soul. Soul of that's parish length is basically it's supposed to be parish leader. It's vicar. That's Vicar Amelia / cleric beast. So this is back when like the cleric beast was fought in the cathedral after Gascoigne. So that would be the old, I guess, Father Norbert soul.
Okay.
Beast that
Sorry, Sophie.
yes.
For those who don't know, can you tell us who's Father Norbert?
Father Norbert is an old character. Basically, the plot was that you would be told to seek by the Gilbert equivalent character that you should go and seek someone called Father Norbert in the cathedral, and when you got there, you'd fight the cleric beast. The cleric beast would die and drop the soul of Father Norbert, which would be like, oh, okay, Father Norbert is the cleric beast. Oh dear. And yeah, that's from an old version of the game we don't really have anymore. But yeah, so that was Norbert. The weird Anthony Hopkins looking guy is referred to as, people call him Norbert. He isn't. He's an unrelated character, but we just sort of, it's one of those things like people just sort of named him because we had the name Norbert, but it's not. It's just a guy. Interestingly, they translated the Norbert stuff into English, and in Japanese it's Herbert. So they actually went from Herbert deliberately to Norbert, which is such a dorky name, and I don't know why. You'd think it'd be the other way around.
Yeah.
Like how in Dark Souls 3 they just have like straight up normal names, like Doris and Hazel and Leonard, and then they just change it to like Dorhis and like Leonhard, and this is like,
Yeah.
you know what we need? We need to call out a really impressive boss, Norbert. Okay, so it's going down. Eye Collector, that's the Hemwick Witch. Snakeball, we know. Lesser Demon, Death and Darkness, that's the old wet nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, no, so, yeah, Arkin pointing out that, like, Herbert is, like, a reference to Herbert West from Lovecraft, and, we won't talk about Herbert anymore. After something that happened in the server. So, Lesser Demon of Death and Darkness, I've talked about this before, this is the wet nurse's soul.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, like, these are roughly in the order you would do them. Like, so it's like Gascoigne, Cleric Beast, presuming they're in the Cathedral, Bloodstaff Beast, Hemwick, Snakeball for Forbidden Woods. Then Lesser Demon, Death and Darkness is after that. And that sort of always said to me, like, I suppose you encountered, like, the wet nurse at some point, probably in the clinic, or something connected to the clinic, because the old lady who used to be in the clinic, who we'll see in a bit, the old lady in the clinic, she looks like the wet nurse. So I always assumed that, like, something would happen, and she would reveal herself to be a monster, and that's why it's... Oh, sorry. Bash my laptop. Yeah. That's why it's here. Because you can see it's, like, it's in between, like, that's Snakeballs, Forbidden Woods, Ligarius. That's Ligarius. So this is Death and Darkness. So I always assumed it's something to do with the clinic that they ended up not going with. The clinic, we have the clinic map. It's a little bit different. I'll show it to you later on. So university professor is obviously Willem. Idiot Spider is Rom. So Evil God Willem. This is I talked to I don't know if Lost Protagonist is still here, but like I talked to Loki about a specific term they use a lot, and it's the one the game is the one that it's translating as to impair. And he said, like, it basically means failed to become, or like failure. So basically, this is the one reborn, and they're called like failed evil god. And then that is Amygdala, and it's called Evil God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't the Amygdala called a false god?
Well, I think like false god and evil god, they're just two ways of reading the same thing. Because if you think of like a false god is an evil god, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, a bunch of these things have a bunch of different names. So there we go. And that's going to come up later on, because there's a very, very interesting little piece of info later on when we go through, because this actually has the bosses of the chalices in it. And there are a lot more bosses than you would think. Basically, every enemy in the game was a chalice boss at some point. Okay, thank you, Last Protagonist. That's very good. Because it's going to be important later on. So, Saint Beast is Amelia. This is back when she was in Hemwick. Spawn of the Moon, we know now that's Ebrietas. We looked it up. Okay, so successor to the Nightmare is... that's the Moon Presence first form. That is the Moon Presence second form. I think they may have been separate.
Okay.
Thank you, Matthias. So... that's like... that's the Moon Presence. Oh, no, fuck, I'm sorry. No, God.
No? Okay.
It's confusing because of this thing. Okay, so that Spawn of the Moon is Ebrietas. Successor of the Nightmare is the Moon Presence. Messenger from the Moon is the Celestial Emissary. The problem is everything is like Moon, Spawn, Messenger. It drives me insane. Okay, so this is interesting. This is called, it just calls it Gold Beast. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know what this is. It's like, I can see Soul and I can see Beast, so it's like, basically so it's like Soru. That's why it translates it as Seoul, like the city in Korea. So it's like, hello Taylor, so it's like, oh no, I can't highlight on this. This is not a great program to stream from, I'm sorry. So you can see like, that's like Soru. That's Soru. So it's Soul. Okay. That's like Beast, so it's like something Beast Soul. And then that character, from what I can tell, that means like gold or rich or something, and I don't know, I don't think, what the hell is the Gold Beast? I don't know.
The Gold Beast?
I can't think of any, because it looks like nothing here is unaccounted for. Oh, no, Dark Beast Pile is in here later on. They're called, like...
Let's think, we can do this.
Dark Beast Pile is Storm Beast Skeleton.
And this is pre-DLC, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like Lawrence that's on fire.
No, it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anyway, maybe we'll figure it out at some point. Okay, so successor to the Nightmare, that is Moon Presence final form.
Okay.
And now we have the part that's important.
Okay.
This is Gurman's Soul, which we didn't know existed before.
Oh my god.
So see how it... This is the confusing thing. See how it says... Okay, Last Protagonist says it is gold, or metal, right.
Metal.
Yeah, okay. Gurman Beast with golden hair, that might be it. That actually would make sense, because if you look at it, it's positioned right before successor to the Nightmare final form, which is the Cut Moon Presence. So, yeah, if you went down and you were like, okay, Gold Beast, and then the boss after that's the Moon Presence, that actually makes perfect sense. So I think...
Sorry, so what's the gold beast?
The Gold Beast is like, you know, the beast looks like a dragon. That's like a dragon someone stuck hair to.
Oh, like the cut one, or...?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a gold version of that, and that is directly before where the final form of the Moon Presence is.
Oh, nice.
So that would make sense, because it's like it goes Gold Beast, Moon Presence. So that makes sense. So we'll just pencil that in and say that's what it is. This is Gurman's Soul. It's here.
Yay.
Yeah. So like this is interesting because like you might say like Seol officers old man, what the fuck. So the reason it's saying officers is it's the way it's translating the word base, because it calls the Hunter's Dream the base internally. So it's saying base, like, okay, that's like somewhere you work, so it's an office. But that just basically means like soul of the old man from the Hunter's Dream.
Okay.
Yeah, so hooray.
Hooray indeed.
Yeah, from Dave Christie's Law Translation Guide, I actually gave Dave the params. Because we're friends on Discord, so I send him stuff. Anyway, yeah, Gurman's Soul.
Yay.
Yeah. And then we have like, okay, here's like so now we're on to the dungeons, so it's okay. Like Dungeon People Fat, that's obviously the Merciless Watchers. So here's the interesting one. This here, where it says, will impair Soul Messenger Ground Cherry. Ground, I can move this. I'm a genius. I thought I'm capturing the window and I realized I'm capturing the fucking display. So, yeah, that, Ground Cherry. Do you know what a Ground Cherry is?
What is that?
A Ground Cherry is called a Hozukai, which is also a Winter Lantern. It's a Winter Lantern. So this is the soul of a Winter Lantern, and it says that it's that same word I was talking about before that's like failed to become. So it's like the soul of the failed to become a messenger brackets Winter Lantern.
Huh.
So I don't know what it's getting at, but it seems to be implying that like the Winter Lantern is like a failed messenger. I don't know, but like it has some kind of description.
But like, because doesn't the Winter Lantern have messengers?
Yeah, and so it uses the same thing as used to talk about the crawlers.
Yeah, and it looks like the brain. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, so interestingly, like, yeah, there's something about them being failed to be a messenger. I don't know. So as we go down, like, people mention Pearl. This is the thing that confused me initially. So, Storm Beast is actually, you'd think that might be Pearl. That's the abhorrent beast. Dungeon People Load is Dungeon People Lord. So that's the Thumerian Descendant / Thumerian and there's the Descent. Oh, I've forgotten its name. The one that's not the Descendant. Yeah. So that's the That took me a while to figure out. I actually had to go and look at like what its attacks were, and there's all these references to like it's got like a transforming sword and it spins them and stuff, so it's clearly descended. Yeah, messenger and emissary. They actually use messenger and emissary a lot in this. Like they call the what's me call it? They call the snake-headed people like the messengers from the snake marsh or something.
Okay.
Yeah, so but I don't know like where it's really getting at. So some other ones like Spawn of the Moon, we know. Okay, here we go. This is the confusing part. So I saw Storm Beast Bone, and I'm like, oh, clearly that's Pearl. And then I see Storm Beast, and I'm like, is there a version of Pearl that wasn't a skeleton? And I was really confused for ages. like, because I remember I was saying, like, did you fight Pearl, and then Pearl died, and then Pearl's skeleton fought you later on? Kind of like the Bloodletting Beast having, like, a head and a no-head version. But, no. The Storm Beast is just the Abhorrent Beast. And then Storm Beast Skeleton is Pearl. And I don't know why they gave them the same name, because they look very different. Dunno. Yeah, if you go down here, like, we have, there's the magic, by the way, like... Oh, yeah, there's a Silver Beast. There's a Silver Beast, soul. So, this is, like, the magic. You get... These are descriptions of just, like, what the hunter tools / spells would do. So they don't have proper names yet, they're just called, like, Tentacle Call. That's obviously, like... Tentacle Call is obviously a call beyond. Summon the Universe... No, sorry, Tentacle Call is Augur of Ebriatus. Summon the Universe is obviously Call Beyond. That's Beast Roar. Here it's called Reflective Wall. Yeah, Last Protagonist. In 1.0, they did. The Lauren Dark Beast is called Pearl, and the Abhorrent Beast is the Dark Beast. They did, yeah. I if you go to the Bloodborne wiki, there's screenshots of that's actually me. Because I stayed on 1.0 for a year, just documenting it for math. Pearl is fucking broken on 1.0. He does not work properly. His AI will just he'll just stare at a wall. He's not working. So yeah, like I think Pearl was added pretty late, honestly. He doesn't even have like a boss. There's no like references to him in boss lists early on. They just I don't know. So Reflect Wall, that's like, this is what I mean about when people are like, oh, how dare you suggest that like parts of this were maybe made up later on. But like, Founder Beast is Bloodletting Beast, yeah, we'll get to him. So Reflect Wall is like, that's Beast Roar, but you can see here they're getting it like, I think in one version it's actually called like the Wall of Light, because they're trying to get at the idea of like, it's like a barrier. And then later on it becomes the idea of like, you're roaring to create a barrier. But early on it looks like it's more magic. Slimy is the Phantasm Shell. Range Recovery is Choir Bell. Accelerate is the Hunter Bone. Magic Crawling the Earth is the Tiny Nitrous. Guided Missile is Executioner's Gloves. At this point, actually, Executioner's Gloves, it fires messengers. It fires little, like they sort of, like, chase you instead of the skulls. And it's called something else. It's just, it doesn't have a name, I think. It's just called, like, I think it's called Messenger Pursuit, but that's just the internal name.
And you know in the dungeons, I think sometimes you meet a lady that fires
messengers? Yeah. The ghosts in the dungeons, like, female ghosts, they have an attack that's very, very... I think you have to trap them behind something in order for them to do it, which is hard in the dungeons. But they spit little messengers at you, and they'll chase you down. It's the same attack. You would have been able to do that. So killing each other by mistake is Shaman Boneblade. Messenger Mimicry is Messenger's Gift. So going down further, Key to the Forest is interesting. So that's obviously a reference to like a way you get to Forbidden Woods. Now, when we went through the map data a while ago, you could see there was another door that led to where the gatekeeper is. Like, you know when you're in the plaza and there's like a church giant who's asleep, and there's a door behind you, go through the door and there's a carrion crow and a brain sucker, and then if you turn left you can go to Forbidden Woods. That used to have a door, and that door is still in the map files, they just don't load it. So I think Key to the Forest might have opened that door. I don't know. Because there's not really any keys you use in Forbidden Woods. Sacrifice key is... Like, sacrifice is what they call Yahagul. So, the sacrifice key, like, I don't know if that was going to be a locked door in Yahagul, or it's a reference to... Or if it's a reference to the key you get in Yahagul that opens the orphanage, I don't know. Opens the upper Cathedral Ward. But there's some sort of Yahagul key in here. There was another one called... Yeah, here we go. So, this is... It calls them body gem. That's a blood gem. Blood gem removal. I don't know. Because in the early versions, it looks like when you initially got blood gems, they were petrified, and you had to like get the gem out of the rock. And I wonder if it's like there's all these graphics for like petrified blood gems. There's items called petrified blood gem, but yeah, I think it's that. Okay, so Lady LSCL wants to know about the snake ball. Snake ball doesn't have any like specific. It's pretty much just what Lance showed. There was a big snake in the woods. What I can tell you actually is that there is a version where the snake ball is still in there, like along with the Shadows of Yana, but it's in a different spot. You know when there's like the marsh with the fireflies above it, that you sort of, it's like a fork in the road, and one side goes to where the celestial emissaries are, and one side there's like a pig. The snake ball, apparently that like used to load in that marsh. It was like an optional boss. If you took that path, the snake ball would erupt out of the marsh. But yeah, this is like when they were still like playing musical chairs with bosses. Interesting. Heroine doll resurrection items.
Oh yeah, it's the.
We think there's an item called the doll repair kit, which we think that might be that. There is another version of the ending that doesn't involve the third chords, where instead of finding the third chords, you found they're just called like, I think it might actually be this. I think it might be doll resurrection items. The snake ball is called Snake Ball. That is actually its name, Massive Milkers. It's literally just called because it's literally a ball of snakes. It doesn't have a name. But yeah, doll resurrection item. There's an old version where the ending was that instead of finding the third chords, you would find doll resurrection items and you'd bring them to the doll. And if you got all of them, that's what would trigger the alternate ending. But I don't know what the alternate ending was.
That's a good point.
just triggered it. So here's another like I was right, fuck you moment. So okay, so let's load up some more of my files. So back when I was exploring the developer chalices, I noticed that a lot of the doors, shrink you down a little, a lot of the doors that normally are locked by like a, you know the doors that are locked and it's like the portcullis with the lights on the side, and then when you pull the lever it goes up. Like it says unlock. Those don't exist. And instead of those, they have a lock on them, like just a very obvious lock. And I'll just zoom in a bit, you can see like that is just a lock.
Okay.
Yeah, just a lock. And I have another picture. This is from, you can't access these dungeons unfortunately anymore. They've been taken off the server, but these are like from the developer versions.
Okay.
Where are you? Come back. Yeah, so it just says locked. It doesn't say like closed by a device or something.
Okay.
Okay, so I was like, hey, have you noticed that like the Merciless Watchers, they have keys on their belts?
Yeah.
And there's no levers. Do you think what happened was you beat the Merciless Watchers and they dropped the key that opened it instead of the Merciless Watchers guard a lever that opens it? And then I'm going down and lo and behold, in the files is dungeon all-purpose key. So, yeah, there were all-purpose keys for the dungeons, and I think that's what they were.
Interesting.
There we go. I think that's what was going on, that you would actually have to get keys off the watchers to open the doors. Because, I mean, you probably don't notice if you're, like, just desperately trying to kill them, but the Merciless Watchers have a whole lot of keys around their belts.
That's right.
Yeah, so I think it's that. You kill them, you get the key. It's very like Zelda. You just have these all-purpose keys that open all the doors. Okay, so if we now go to weapons, the weapons are like... Hello.
Hello.
We're doing well. I'm holding up well, all things considered. So this is the weapons. You can see, like, in true Miyazaki fashion, the first thing they did was make a fucking katana. So Japanese sword is like the top one. So this is interesting. There's two of these that didn't make it into the game. The first one is this, which it just calls cloth sword. No idea. I don't know what the hell the cloth sword is, but it was something that existed. That doesn't really tell us anything. There is a good one though if we go down to... this is now spread across two different monitors. It's really like... really, really annoying. Hello, Alhazred. So I'm looking for 264. Alright, come back. Should be this one. Here we go. Okay, so Lockhammer. As far as I can tell, that is like... That's meant to be a, it's like a hammer on a chain, like a flail.
Okay.
Or like, yeah, like it's like a flail or a morning star or something. And, that's neat because if you look in the concept art, which I don't have with me, there's concept art of a hunter with that weapon.
Oh.
So it looks like they did actually try to implement it into the game, and then they didn't do it. And did you notice, like in the Elden Ring footage, what's our character holding when they walk across the bridge?
What are they holding?
They're holding a flail. So
no way.
I think the flail is like something they've been trying to get working for a while. I imagine it might be kind of difficult to do because of like the chain and everything. But, like, if you think about maybe the way it animated was difficult, or like they tried to get Havoc working on the chain or something. But yeah, looks like they finally got their flail working in Elden Ring.
Interesting.
Hello,
They have
hello, Beyond the Spider.
The cane. That's
yeah, that's in here too. Also, weirdly, you can see down here there's just references to Catalyst, and I don't know what the fuck the Catalyst is. It's not used. This may just be left over from Dark Souls, I don't know. It's also possible, which we'll show off later on, that you may have actually used a skull as a catalyst. I'll talk about that later on.
Mm-hmm.
Like to cast spells.
Yeah.
So, the final thing I want to show off, we've talked about the NPC params before. I'm going to have to move this because I literally cannot see the bottom of the screen because of how it's set up. Here we go. So, oh yeah, like, NPC param. So this is the NPC param. Let's just get ourselves the Japanese for a second. This is the NPC params. An awful lot of this is for like Dark Souls, basically. So you can see, like, where am I going? Like that's like Ostor, that's like our Oscar, like Knight of Astora, follower, big hat Rogan, aka Big Hat Logan. Yeah, like that's Dusk, Princess of the Lost Kingdom, etc. So this is kind of a pain to go through because they don't sort of like, there's not a specific point at which it's like, oh cool, it's now it's Bloodborne. You just have to go through one by one and figure out which is which. So the one I want to show off, I've actually talked about this before, is if we look for Okay, so here we go. Here's the Bloodborne stuff. You can see like Cathedral City. Cathedral City is what they call Yharnam. I don't actually know at what point it was called. It actually called it Yharnam because early on they just call it the Cathedral City. So I don't know when that name.
Or
No, well, Cathedral City is clearly a placeholder, but I don't know at what point they actually named it Yharnam. Because, like I was saying, the only character who seems to have had the same name from beginning to end is Gascoigne.
yeah.
So Miyazaki just said, I've come up with this character. He's called Gascoigne. That's it. You can't change it. So this is all the, like, characters. You can see here, like, there's a ton of like, if you look at it, they'll list where it's for. It's like Cathedral Street B, ruins, stuff like that. They'll reference enemies that exist in places where they normally aren't. So you can see, like, there's like a ton of Thumerians for the there's a ton of Thumerians for the Forbidden Woods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like.
So what does that mean? There's a ton of Thumerians for the Forbidden
Well, because
Woods?
that's like an excavation thing. So Albert, we know it's all right. We know that the R and L are the same sound. So like.
So like, does it mean that there were going to be Thumerians on the surface?
There's references to them, and there's like an NPC who says that they've come back, who's not used. He says like you took the chalice and the Pale Watchers are coming to get it back, which implies they are leaving. Big Hat Joe Rogan.
That's what I was thinking.
Jesus Christ.
When you said Rogan,
Yeah.
I pictured like Joe Rogan and the Big Logan hat.
Oh, Widow Sacrifice. Widow is what they call the Bell Maidens, and Sacrifice is Yarhugul, so that would be a Bell Maiden for Yarhugul. You see here, there's like they call them like Widow Sacrifice is like the Widows for Yarhugul. Yeah, they are in the Project Beast trailer. There's a lot of stuff for the woods that isn't used, and like Widow Castle of Evil Spirit, that's Cainhurst. Ruins is Old Yharnam, so like there's the Bell Maiden for Old Yharnam. Oh god, this shit. Okay, so all these things, the burned corpses.
Mm-hmm.
There are these enemies that don't make it into the game, and there are these like, they look like a Dark Souls Hollow, but they're on fire, and they have all these different weapons. They are everywhere in the params. Like there's just like burned corpse, burned corpse, burned corpse, burned corpse, but just everywhere.
Oh.
So I think you see like here there's like references to Project Beast. It's like Project Beast, Cathedral City, Project Beast, Red Eye. Oh no, sorry, it's Profiled Beast. Never mind. Water Corpse Beast, we talked about those before. This is something I brought up another time when I talked about the params. So like they have different names. So you've got like, okay, like Water Corpse Beast City, then you have Water Corpse Beast Forest Beast. Then you have Water Corpse Poor Youth City and Dharma. And I'm like, I don't know. It's so odd that like they made these different versions.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, was like Dharma supposed to be like a church thing? Because like the church's badge is like the Wheel of Dharma. And they're for Cathedral Street B, which is Central Yharnam. So I don't know. So this is interesting because they call the gargoyles in Cainhurst, that translates them as fruit bat for some reason. I don't know why. Do you have fruit bats in Canada?
What is that?
They're like a little bat that just lives in trees and eats fruit.
Do we have bats in Canada?
Well, it's cold and dark. I assume you do.
Maybe it's too cold and dark. There are 18 species of bats in Canada.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Let's compare it to Australia. There's 77 species of bats in Australia.
Yeah.
You have significantly more bats. What is it called? Fruit bat?
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
doesn't seem like it. Quick Google search says
Yeah.
no.
okay, so I found this is important. This is very important.
Yeah.
So you know, the pig beast.
You mean Snuffles?
I'll find Snuffles. I'll just find a picture of Snuffles so everyone knows
Yes.
how important he is.
Yeah.
We're going to do a video on Snuffles at some point because
definitely.
No character has caught my heart more than Snuffles.
Oh.
Where is he? Oh yeah. So this is a verge. This is what Lance rescued.
Let's rescue the sanctuary.
So this is an unused enemy that it didn't have a name. It was just internally called Avatar B. Oh, Albert, yeah. The thing about Google Translate is it will sometimes see Japanese and just decide it's kanji, decide it's Chinese, and you have to tell it not to. This is all done automatically by whoever set the spreadsheet up.
Mm-hmm.
It's helpful because you can skim it, but it's not very accurate, obviously. So this is an enemy that was cut from the game. He's actually still in the game. There's some chalices that exist to test enemies, and he is in there, so you can go down there and actually encounter him. We were like, what the hell? We didn't know what it was called. We called it Snuffles. A friend of mine actually named it, who's one of our patrons, Katie. And it's not because he does actually snuffle. What happens is like they're asleep, and as you go by, its nose goes, and then it wakes up and starts sniffing and looking for you with its giant nose. It's so cute. And like interesting lore point is that it looks like the statues around the altar in Old Yarnum.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, you had a point early on, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
There was something about you. Yeah, it's like... Anyway, it's in here.
That's beautiful.
And it is called... It's called, Berserker Pig.
Berserker Pig?
It's like, Berserker Buta, which is like Berserker Pig.
That's wonderful.
I'm so happy.
So, it's just like a beautiful love story.
Berserker Pig. Yeah, so and then you have like just down here there's other ones like the Slug Princess is in here. We've never found anything else about the Slug Princess.
Oh, interesting.
Just is doll. Heroine is what the Souls games always call like the level up character. It's like the Firekeeper is heroine, Priscilla is heroine because she used to be one. And yeah, so like doll is heroine. Elderly Awakening Man is like that Skirman. We talked about that before. I don't think there's really much else to go through in the params file. There probably is, but like I've not gone through this cell by cell because there's thousands of them and I would go insane. So anyway, yeah, here's Snake Ball.
Snake Ball.
Yeah. Vampire Dolphin is so fucking ridiculous.
Vampire Dolphin.
It's the pigs, the man-eater boars, and then that's been mangled into Vampire Dolphin because Google thinks it's Chinese, and like apparently those are the same thing.
Do you remember the episode of Reborn where they had a mafia dolphin who thought?
No, I don't.
You
know what? I don't remember any of Reborn because it's all just like a dream.
And then, like, everybody was teaching Tuna to swim, but they were doing a bad job.
Reborn is like, you wake up after Reborn, it's had the weirdest dream, and you tell people about it, and then you fucking fall asleep, and then you just forget about it ever. I think that's it for the for this part. Okay, so we'll move on to part 2 of 4.
Can we take a 2-minute break?
You can take it. Oh yeah, if you take a 2-minute break, I'll just boot up Noasis.
Yeah. I'm gonna go grab some more coffee,
Cool,
grab a blanket,
okay.
maybe a snack. It's getting cold.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Boondock Saints is what they call the executioners. So let's just turn that off. Where is Noasis? Okay, here we go. Put you back there. Yeah. Boondock Saints is what it calls This is another like translation thing, because the movie The Boondock Saints in Japan is called The Executioners. So Google, because it's trying to do this like AI thing, it sees that and it's like, oh, okay. Order. Put you over here. Transform and center. Okay. Yeah, so guess what game Bloodborne's built on top of? Hello, Emlyn. So this is like textures, textures and models that were in the game. Let's make this bigger. There we go. Okay, so we're going into like, these are all the same, I think. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, nothing particularly interesting there. So, like I said, this only has Central Yarnum in it, but it includes models for other areas. There's no new models here though. So it's like there's your huntsman. I want to show off the old lady because people might not have seen her before. I could do this in the character viewer, but it's sort of not worth it because it's nothing new. Actually, this is interesting because, like I said, this is only Central Yarnum. So, interesting that these are in Central Yarnum. What's going on? You'll find out. I think yeah, here we go. She'll be down here. Okay, here's the old lady. This is the character who was the Yasefka sort of character to begin with. She's the one who would have like met you in the clinic and ministered you. No, maybe not ministered you, but she'd be the one who would like talk to you when you woke up, and she'd like tell you what was going on. And they cut her entirely. But interestingly, this build, which is not that far removed from the retail, she's in it and Yasefka isn't. So that gives you a rough idea of like when they added Yasefka, because it would have been like, we're talking like maybe a few months before, like she was added very, very late. Okay, the floating statue in Old Yarnum. Oh, okay, no, Lost Protagonist. The problem is I'm viewing it in this thing, and because of the way I extracted them, the values are flipped. So, the huntsman, you can see like they do have the elongated arm, but it's the wrong side because I think the the y-axis is wrong because of the way I've extracted them, but like it doesn't particularly matter in this instance because I'm just showing off the model, so I don't need it to be right. But anyway, yeah. Where are we? Come back. So yeah, she was there, and Yosefka was added so late. Yosefka's not in there at all. And yeah, like I was saying, she looks a lot like the wet nurse. It's the wet nurse's like headdress and everything. Like I was saying, like the wet nurse is something that's in the she's listed as a boss for like roughly when you'd go into the clinic. So I'm still wondering if like did she there's something about them, but we don't know what. What else is in here? No, I don't want to explore it. Oh, it's cut off, sorry. I have all these like my monitor is a goddamn disaster right now. There is so much stuff on it. I'll see if am I cropping this? No? Window capture 7. No? Okay. Who can see? Okay, so what else is here? There's a bunch of like textures and things we can look at. No, I don't want to test it. These won't open, will they? The DX10s won't open, okay. It's alright, I converted them. Hello bedsheet. So this is the textures. It's fascinating. Let's go down till we find some nicer ones. It's a 65k one. Wow. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So these are... This is the weapon textures. You'll notice, again, this is just straight up like... This is Dark Souls. With the difference that this skull is here. So you might think like... Okay, that skull is the alluring skull from Dark Souls. It isn't. It's a completely different graphic. And if you've seen people stream the alpha, like Lance or Foxy or Drop-Off or someone like that, this is the icon that you used to cast spells. They sort of all defaulted to this icon. And you'll also remember that, like, back in the weapons params, it listed a weapon that was called Catalyst. And you can see, like, the skull is near the catalysts. So I am wondering if that catalyst weapon is actually this. Like, I wonder if the catalyst... Like, it's trying to, like... It's kind of like a pyromancy flame, and it's just, like, listing you as having an upgraded, like, whatever it was that cast spells. I think that's what this might have been. It might be to like test the level of the spell you're casting. Maybe you could upgrade it at some point instead of it just being scaling with int. Or sorry, with arcane.
Hi.
Hi. How's it
I'm
going?
back.
Hello.
I got a snack.
Hooray!
It's poutine.
Now it's a party.
Woo!
Poutine's a snack to you?
Yes.
I had poutine once, like 3 months ago. I'm still fucking digesting it. It's revolting.
It's because you gotta build a tolerance as a Quebecer.
God. My arteries are clogging just talking to you. So, yeah, this again is like it's all Dark Souls stuff. There's some Bloodborne stuff if we keep going down. Rings. You can see, like, again, like that's the luminosity thing from Dark Souls, where it's like adjust this so you can see the flame. Like it's just Dark Souls assets everywhere. Here we go. We're getting into like Bloodborne menu assets. There's a very interesting one that's got a different hunter's mark, which I'm trying to find. I've seen that one. Seen that one. Seen that one. Seen that one. Where are we going? Okay, here we go. So, am I zoomed in? Is this what the problem is? Those are all Dark Souls area names. so they're not like weirdly cut like Bloodborne ones. I'm sorry. More Dark Souls area names, and here we go. You might have seen this already, but like these are old Bloodborne area names. Oh, poutine. Poutine is it is a explain poutine to people because I don't want to think about it.
So on the one hand, it is our president. Get it?
It's very good. It's very good. Very good.
Thank you. And like I say, our president because we're scared of him. Yeah. And on the other hand, poutine, Poutine, is a dish, and it's in its, I guess, like first form.
Yeah.
It's fries, gravy, and cheese curds.
Yeah.
However, it can evolve into a greater form. Like what I have is actually a fancy poutine that my boyfriend ordered for himself, but he couldn't eat it all. So he put it in the fridge, which is a mistake because if it's in the fridge, it's mine. So I'm sure he would share. So I took some, but it was a giant one, so it's okay. So he still has some for like tomorrow. But this poutine has like giant fries, like they're huge, with chicken, with mushrooms, and the gravy sauce is like a special sauce, and it has some other stuff, and it's really, really good. It's like, oh my god, if you go to a restaurant and they have like varieties of poutine, try like a variety, be adventurous. It's so good. There's a place near the where like the forest is, where my boyfriend's parents live. There's a place there that serves poutine, and it's like you could feed like 3 people with that thing. But there's like bacon, there's sausage, there's like onion, there's mushroom, there's everything on top of the usual like sauce, cheese curds, and fries. It's just, oh my god! But we haven't been there because of the pandemic, and I miss it.
Fair.
Another place we can't go, girl, is Cabana Sucre. Remember? I showed you.
Oh god.
It's like where the maple trees are, but you also eat there.
How are you still alive? I think the pandemic has actually made you healthier. Alrighty, so these are old like obviously these are names that show up when you go in there. I really like Gravia. Presumably that was Hemwick because it's like Town of the Gravediggers. I like to imagine that, like, all of the areas would have followed this convention. So there was, like, churchier, schoolier, forestia, sacrificier, fishier, castlier. Yeah.
Sophie?
Yes.
Sophie.
Yes.
So what you're saying, locations of Bloodborne which you laughed at is actually canonically better named than this.
Yeah. Edinson Kerr says that they tried poutine and their arteries were creaking. Okay?
It's so good, isn't it?
It's, oh my god.
It's like
I
heaven
think
in
I'm
a
still
bowl.
digesting it.
Listen, if you just walk like 50,000 steps a day after it for a month, you'll be fine.
I do. It's still not enough. Nothing's enough. Okay, so Nameless Tomb, no idea. For all we know, that was like Erden or something, or maybe a Chalice dungeon. Altar of the Old Ones is interesting because it suggests that early on it wasn't Great Ones, it was Old Ones. Which is notable.
I'm sorry, I'm chewing. But Old Ones, Sophie, Old Ones is Demon Souls.
Yeah, so it looks like early on, at least from what I can tell from, if this is our only piece of evidence, then it's like, okay, early on it was probably Old Ones, not Great Ones. And if that's what it was, then that just sort of like links it into Demon Souls quite well, because you can just say, okay, there are multiple Old Ones, and we met one of them in Demon Souls, and then there's other ones.
Yeah.
We meet in this game. See, there you go. First level, second level, I assume, are just for chalices. Oh, hang on, the next one, right? You ready?
Yeah.
Here come that boy. It's that boy.
There's a lag. I'm dying of anticipation.
This is the
It's very
old loading
exciting.
screen. This is the old loading screen.
Oh,
And
I know who's gonna appear.
it's Snuffles the pig.
Yes.
He's the loading screen, and he's got armor on.
Amazing.
And it's like, clearly at some point, they had big plans for this guy, and then they just cut him.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah, that's your, there you go. So I think that's sort of like, I showed off the models before, there's nothing too amazing in here. Lot of directories called like ASDF, DS, ASDF, because I did this so frantically. Nothing in there. I think it's in my other one. Hang on, presentation. Desktop. Where are my files? Files and folder. Damn it. Ugh. Some more textures. Hello, hey Philomena, hi.
Hi, let me know.
Alright, so here we have textures. Again, none of them... These are things that, like, you will have, like, either... If you haven't seen them before, it's like, who fucking cares? It's just a rock. And if you haven't seen them before, it's like, oh, that's a slightly different rock than we normally have. So I don't know how fascinating this will be, but we can... There's a lot of 1 kilobyte ones that are just... I think this is just, like, empty. Where are you? Here we go. That's just, like, some gravestones and stuff. Hey! Yeah, so, like, that is, like... A lot of these are distant ones. What's this? Who wants a leaf? There's a leaf. There's an older version of the astral clock in here. So you can see... here we go. Okay, so I don't know anything about, like, what you call parts of a clock, but... There's a version of the astral clock that you see in Project Beast. It's got a much, much more prominent, like, that thing. That part of
A
it...
leaf?
That part of it is a lot more prominent. The sort of secondary dial thing. Is Miyazaki's dead baby texture in here? It might be. I don't know what.
Oh my god.
There's so much in here. I think, like, from memory, that's a color that's not used. Yeah, there's like... A lot of these are like, they're tiny because they're for the distance models. So, like, this is only Central Yharnam, but from Central Yharnam you can see different areas. So a lot of these are actually, like, for those different areas that you see in the distance. So they're tiny. So there's, like, a tiny little astral clock, 'cause you never actually go there from that map. That's, like, one of the Great One statues that they have in, like, Cathedral Ward, with, like, the sort of, like, the squid shape. We could go through these all day, but we won't. How long have we been going? We've been going for 90 minutes, Christ. I thought we'd only last like 40. We're not even at the later parts yet. We're only...
Oh my goodness.
Anyway,
I'm being quiet because I'm chewing, so I muted myself out of respect.
Oh, no, this is the problem, Leon. There's no Witch's Abode stuff, because you can't... Witch's Abode's just not in there. I said this at the start, but, like... The frustrating thing is that all the really cool cut shit is in Hemwick, because that was the first area they made.
Sophie?
And this doesn't have Hemwick in it, so I don't get to look at it. I just get to look at stinky Central Yharnam.
Sophie, I'm sorry, but I have to interrupt you for a second.
Certainly.
There's someone in the chat whose name is Leon the Shape-Shifting Chameleon.
Yeah? Are they going to shoot me in the head to make me finish the stream?
No, I just wanted to point that out for no
Yeah.
specific reason.
Okay. No reason.
No reason, just, you
Yeah.
know. At least somebody appreciates our lore.
Yeah. Yeah. I spent a lot of time wishing someone would shoot me.
Oh, no.
It's been my reaction to recording lately. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is what I mean. You can see, like, this is like a little Paper Mario version of Yharnam that I have in the distance. Oh yeah, the bluish ones are the normal maps. They're for the they're just to show like the depth of things for light. So this is what I mean. This is like, I think that's like, that might be, I don't know, but that's for buildings in the distance. There's a lot of stuff like that. You can get like distant versions of buildings that we don't actually visit, but we can't get the full one. Yeah, a lot of bump mapping here. Normal mapping. Here's how to pick up Fair Maidens. The legendary book.
Can we read the entire book?
No, although interestingly, the cut version does have the author, and it does say it's by Lady Maria.
Does it?
I think that's all for now. Hang on. Now, there is a, this is a giant mess, I'm very sorry. Why is the object folder empty? I'll see if it might actually be, hang on, it might be in the other object folder. Let's try. Maybe it's just still in here. No, it's still in binder format. I don't know where I put them. This is really annoying. Not in there. Is there some days? Oh, I already tried these. There's really no objects we haven't seen before. I was going to show them off, but I don't know where I've put them. I possibly accidentally deleted them. So, now we are going to boot up the map viewer. So this is something I've streamed a couple of times before, and it is... Just waiting for it to open. It's a very, I mean, it's not a particularly big file, but my computer is not great, so... Properties, and we'll make this...
Sophie?
Hello.
Sophie. So, since we're waiting for the thing, maybe you can tell everyone what is the recent Snack Covenant thing we recorded.
We recorded Elden Ring Bingo.
Elden Ring Bingo! OMG!
Yeah.
It was really good. It was really fun. We're giving it the super fancy edit.
Yeah, that's why it's taking a while. Okay, so here is... This is Central Yharnam in the map viewer, and it's the Central Yharnam from the alpha. It's just new discoveries. It's bits and pieces. Basically, if you know Lance's stuff, there is really nothing new here. But patreon.com/sinclairlaw. Okay, so...
I love you.
So I want to start here. The clinic is a little different. I've looked into the maps before, so I will show you what I mean. So, Alright, so in the base retail build of the game, this is the clinic. We called it Elden Ringo at the end. It's beautiful. So these are the same places. The clinic in the retail build is this one. And you can see that one of the mad ones from Hemwick is there. And that's because they implemented this idea and then scrapped it. That if you had enough insight, the mad ones would appear like all over the game. So like they would appear, there's data for them in like Mensis, there's data for them in like Yahar'gul, they're all over Cathedral Ward, they're all over Central Yharnam. And yeah, they this is a screenshot I took of the map view when I'm looking at the retail build. And you can see we're now in the not retail build, and those, they are not there. There's no mad one. So that looks like a late idea. Yeah. So let's just move you over to the side. The other thing that's here, there's a number of things. This is basically all that we have because it ends at the cleric piece. There's no other maps. The these celestial larvae, they're in the retail as well. You might be wondering why the fuck are there celestial larvae here. It's maybe going to make sense in a second. And we also have the Garden of Eyes. So let's just delete. The problem is this loads like the low poly and the high poly at the same time, so they overlap each other. So there's our Garden of Eyes. That Garden of Eyes is still in retail, and I had a theory that that's what Yosefka turned into, and I still think it might be because it's called like Sister, which suggests like Sister of the Healing Church. But as you'll see in this version, there is no Yosefka, but there is a Garden of Eyes. So it's something. And they're called, like, in this version, they're not called Sister, they're called Garden of Eyes brackets Full Moonlit Night. So it's almost certainly like they were going to show up under, like, the Red Moon. It would make perfect sense. It's called, like, they're called Cthulhu Spider internally. So this is called, like, Cthulhu Spider for the Moonlit Night.
And was Yosefka gonna turn into one of them at some point?
I think she was going to, like, at some point in between this and the retail, because it's called Sister in the retail, but here it's just called For Moonlit Night. So this is the major change. This is where you pop out of the ground, where the graveyard is, and you can see it's completely different. Totally different. There's no, I mean, there's still kind of a graveyard, but you can see, like, where you'd pop out would be here. So instead of there being the little tiny ladder, it's this. And if we can actually get rid of that polygon, you can see. This is the old way that you'd come and go from Forbidden Woods, and unfortunately, because it doesn't load Forbidden Woods, it stops abruptly here. So Forbidden Woods would have started here. But as you can see, like, you probably would have come up through here.
Fascinating. It's really interesting to, like, see where it was and what we got.
Yeah, and you can see, like, the celestial larvae. I think those two are removed in the retail, but these three are still here, because I remember finding them. Their faces do look like a cute little, like, thing. Another interesting, I guess because this is the, because this was like a network test thing, there don't seem to be any Wandering Madnesses. Because there's usually a Wandering Madness here. It's not loaded in game, but it like the data's here, the model's here. You can see like that big, it makes sense because like it's just a network test, you're not going to be upgrading weapons, so just get rid of anything that doesn't factor in. So, but yeah, you can see it just ends here. If we go over, like, that whole area down here with like the little path and the brain suckers, like, it's sort of here. You can sort of go under here, but you can see it's basically not there. Like, it's just empty. So this is like the well would be over here. The tree would be, they basically deleted this building. So you can see like Yeah, just put a massive ladder there is basically Miyazaki's approach to every time something's removed. So get rid of some of this. There we go. So you can see, like, you come down here, like, there's where the ladder would be. There's where you get into the back of the clinic along the rooftop. And, like, the brain sucker and the tree would be down here. So let's fly back to the start. This horrible choppy frame rate, that's literally my computer, it's not the stream. Because it's trying to, like, it's trying to render, like, all of Central Yharnam at once, and it's not working. Okay, so it'll be a little easier inside the clinic because it's got walls, so it's not rendering everything in the distance. So treasure chest. There's an item there in the base game on a corpse. Here it's just a treasure chest. It's very good that I can delete parts of the map because it is a fucking nightmare. Because it loads like the low poly and the normal version over the top of each other. So you end up with like giant overlapping blobs. Here's the Scourge Beast. You can see that there's no corpses from what I can tell. There's like the Scourge Beast hasn't killed anyone. And there is, interestingly, there's a Beast Patient. Let's move them over here. Move. There we go, Beast Patient.
This is really cool. I really like the like clinic area a lot. I wish we had like more of it.
Yeah. You can see like so I don't know if that was a corpse or an actual Beast Patient. Maybe the beast was gonna kill it. There's actually a bunch of other Beast Patients in here. There's one around here. There we go. Yeah, this is actually Bedsheet. This is a map editor. This is actually designed to mod Dark Souls with, and I just got Bloodborne working in it. So, yeah, that's why you can edit and remove and delete things. So there's our another Beast Patient. I actually don't know if those are Beast Patient enemies or they're corpses, because corpses like appear in the map editor as like a T-pose, and then they ragdoll in game. Not ragdoll, they like go into the corpse position in game. The thing is that in this game, in this version though, all the corpses are the corpses from the Chalice dungeons. They're just like the skull wrapped in a like a blanket. So I don't know. These might actually have been enemies. It sort of makes sense when you consider that, like, you know, like you're escaping the clinic and you run into like people who are in the clinic and transformed. Currently, it's just the Scourge Beast, but looks like at this point it would have come back. Sorry. Terrified this thing's going to break on me. Okay, so there we go. Up we go. This is interesting. So if you've ever like really looked, looked at the this part of the railing. I don't know why I'm even as if people out there are doing that other than me. But if you really look at this part of the railing in-game, it's complete, but the material properties are wrong. So, like, that part of the railing is a different colour, and the reason it's a different colour is it used to be a gap. And there's another gap over here. So, and you can see that the gap is, it's roughly kind of above that Scourge Beast. So if we think back, like, Dark Souls starts with you plunge attacking the Asylum Demon. So I'm wondering if the idea is you would plunge attack the Scourge Beast from there. It's also possibly just a shortcut. Like you'd basically avoid all the beasts if you ran along here and dropped down. You'd be in front of the door.
Yeah.
So I'll trace the pathway that we would have taken. That's what I mean about there being these like low poly versions of everything lying around. Come back. Where are you? Where are you? There you are. Okay, so also no lamps. There's no lanterns anywhere in this because it's a network test. We will see some warp chairs though. So that's there's the door where your Sefka is. You'll notice this is so there's the Blood Minister. The reason that this guy is like, he's the same Blood Minister at the start of the game who's like Oh yeah, Last Protagonist, it looks like absolutely the ladders are a loading thing. It's just to make it take longer to get from A to B. That also seems to be why they deleted part of... there's a lot of issues with Yarhagul that I think stem from this. So here is the Blood Minister from the intro, who's like, oh, a contract, blah, blah, blah. If you if you look at like the CG intro that plays, they make a big deal out of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's an important character, and like this is him because he was interactive. Lance has done a video on it. You could talk to him. He'd be sort of like a Gilbert equivalent. He'd like info dump you about the city, and he would move around. He would spawn. Apparently, he was in the street at one point. He'd like the reason you see him move around in the street in the intro is he would actually sort of like appear in various places to talk to you.
So he's kind of like Simon or something.
Yeah. And he just sort of like cackles and tells you like, like the Ebrietus will awaken soon and everything. But the major thing I want to show off here, and this is important, is considering like these maps load even if something's not used, they still load it. So like this dude is still, he's not there, but he's loaded. There's no Celestial Yusefka. If you load this up in retail, there is a Celestial standing there for when Yusefka is transformed. Actually, there you go. So like, there's the warp chair that you would have woken up in, and you can see it's even got. There's a little like, you can sort of make it out. There's like a little wireframe sort of trapezoid thing, wireframe like sort of pyramid thing. That's like the sign of like there's an object here. So this would have been like the warp chair interaction thing. So you would have woken up on that instead of waking up on the table. You would have woken up in the chair. There's where our Seek Pale Blood note is now. There's nothing there at the moment. Let's pop through here. So again, no Celestials. If you...
What does that mean?
Well, I'm getting there. Like, if you load this area in the retail build, it's full of Celestials. They're everywhere because it's all the Celestials that are used when Yusefka starts transforming. The imposter transforms people. There's none. They're all gone. And if we go into the back, where there's that transformed corpse, there isn't one. Like, it's normally on that table and it's not there. So the whole Yusefka transforming people plotline, that looks like it was added like after the network test, so like pretty late in the day.
Wow.
That's like, yeah, it's like really interesting. There's another beast patient out here. And what else is here is there's a corpse. There's a corpse around here that I found. Yeah, so there's a corpse on the roof, and I don't really know. There's an object there. I don't know what it would have been. But there's something there. There's something there. This is what I mean, like all the corpses in the network test look like that. They don't make them specific like Yharnamite corpses until later on. So yeah, there's something going on here. And apparently, God, Lance showed me this one time. There's a, I think one of those balconies has collision and you could have jumped down from it.
Oh.
So you sort of get the impression if we like pop through the wall here. This is the room with the Celestial Corpse in it now. Right. So if you imagine you're trying to break out of the clinic, this is actually roughly aligned with the window where the balcony is. So I'm wondering if like what happened is you went through the clinic and then you perhaps like broke out the window at some point because that would put you where the roof is.
Right.
Like it's up here, like that sort of makes sense to me. I don't know if that's how it worked, but it's sort of like I can see that working. Yeah. Our last protagonist is really good. We're blessed by his presence.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so also I think some of the this runs like shit, I'm sorry. I think there's some of the like what do they call it? Some of the like shelves and things are in different positions. Nothing major. Like I'm pretty like those seem to be. You'll see there's like bits of random architecture lying around. So let's go back. Hang on. Let's again show you how things moved. So this is the hallway here. So I'm gonna open up another image to show you. that's the old lady. It's the old lady I showed off before, and you can see in the background. You can see in the background there's the two Celestials.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in the same hallway now, and you can see like none of that's there. So the old lady isn't there either. And I thought, oh, did they just like delete the old lady? Is she just not? Did they just like not have anything in the clinic? But then I remembered. When Lance first dug this up, he said, oh yeah, the old lady's here, but she keeps dying because she's out of bounds. And I'm like, okay, so she's not in the map. And I remember him saying she's kind of like over here, so I popped through the wall, and it's hard to find her. There she is, because she's here. Yeah, the models for those corpses, they're used in Hamwick, the Fishing Hamlet, and the Chalices, but they're not used anywhere else. But they are in this. They all look like a skeleton in a blanket. So here's the old lady. She's here. She's just out of bounds. She's outside the map.
Huh.
And
Why?
It's like, well, okay, is she outside the map? Or is... Because if you look at it like that, actually, there's like some leftover architecture here. And from what I can tell, according to Lance, let's delete this. This was a door. This was the door, and she'd be behind that door. And you'd actually like go under here and meet her there in this hallway, and you can see like the sort of little bits and pieces of arc. That actually lines up with the clinic. So you see like this is part of the clinic. That part there.
Yeah.
You never ever go below there. The clinic is massive from the outside, tiny from the inside, and looks like this area here, she's just in there. She's just in here. So there would have been this other little area you could go to where she'd be. I went up here and
Sophie,
I'm like, yes, Sim?
you said it's like big on the outside, but small on the inside.
Yep.
Is it a reverse TARDIS?
I'll have you know, alright, that TARDISes that were bigger on the outside, smaller on the inside, they do exist in the expanded universe.
Oh my god.
They're war TARDISes, and they were used during the War in Heaven when there were 9 Gallifreys.
I don't know if you're making this up.
I'm not making it up, and I hate that I know it. Also, like... I don't really understand.
Oh, Sophie, one more thing before we forget, because I wanted to say it and I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody knows the last protagonist, but if you don't, I'm gonna post a link to their channel.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. They have like a lot of Bloodborne translations.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
check it out.
Yeah, check them out. So this is the room that we meet Impostia Sefka in, and there's like that. It's hard. It's really hard to say. I apologize, but it renders them as wireframes. There's like a little one of those like yellow trapezoid things here. No, this build it actually has like it has the models for the Celestials. They're in there. The model is in there. The character is in there. They just don't show up. And like you can see like the corpse model's not like it's a very different layout, and like I don't know. Also, I'm pretty sure like Yosef, like she's called like Imposter Doctor or Lady Doctor. She's not in here. I can have another look. Hey Rose. So let's pop down here. Don't go into the extended universe will drive you insane. We'll start talking about faction paradox soon. Sin, are you still there?
Oh,
Hi.
I was muted and I didn't realize.
Were you complaining? Were you talking about Doctor Who?
I was just asking questions about Doctor Who, and I'm like, wow, Sophie's ignoring me. I guess, stupid questions, huh?
Yeah. So when we do our 3-hour-long video on when Faction Paradox infected the Doctor's biodata by making him cross his own timeline, and changing the standards of his third regeneration on the planet Dust, which is then transformed into another planet by a Gallifreyan priest who is also the owner of the junkyard from the very first episode. You'll know my pain. Alright.
It sounds like a plot from Soul Reaver.
God. There are vampires.
Oh, there you go.
This is the thing, vampires are a massive part of the, like, expanded Doctor Who, like, Gallifreyan lore. And I don't want to remember it. But it's there. It's like junk data in my head that needs to be removed. This model for character where is ceremony man in the world. Okay, so here we go. This is Gilbert, and you can see like there is no Gilbert. There's just nothing. There's not even a window.
Oh.
But there's the 2 warp chairs.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you, Leon. So there's the 2 warp chairs. So there's no Gilbert.
Thanks, Leon.
My understanding about the man in the wall is we might actually be able to find him. So what happened basically, for those who don't know, is that the one we started with was down here. Where is he? He's past here. So basically, there's a screenshot from a very long time ago that shows someone here and they are looking at the wall and they're talking to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking to someone through the wall, and this is back when we had like no idea what the hell it was, and it's like, why is there an NPC in a wall? And is it that one? I don't know. But the answer is like, there wasn't supposed to be an NPC in the wall. It's like the NPC was actually for a house that was like way over here, and just to stop you interacting with him in the network test, they just added some arbitrary number to his coordinates, and he ended up in a different wall by accident. But you weren't actually supposed to interact with him through the wall. It was a total accident. Yeah, so like, I don't think any of the talkative NPCs are in here. Man in the wall, man in the wall. It's the narrow-minded man, if you're curious. It's an old version.
The man in the wall?
It was so confusing because this is the build when Lawrence is a different character. So we found there's just this like guy in a wall talking about Lawrence, and we're like, what? Yeah. No. What's going on? And it turns out it's just a narrow-minded man, and Lawrence is a different character. So yeah, he was here, and I don't know if he's still here. Might be. If we find like a little wireframe model, that'll be him. But maybe he's not. I don't know. What's that? Ooh. Oh yeah, this like copy pasted bits of bridge to make up Yharnam. You don't get a sense of what a massive mess the city is until you look at it in the map view and you're like, oh, Jesus, you just copied and pasted. Look at that. It's just floating. So these things, like, you don't notice because it's only rendering like what you see from the camera perspective. So if you're down here, like, of course you don't see like that's floating because you'll only ever be like from over here. It's like, yeah, that's how it works. This is the friend Lawrence build, yeah. So let's just follow like the path we would normally have taken. There's not a great deal of difference. So this is pretty much the same. We've got our like Yharnamite huntsman. Go through here. There's the beast. Yeah, not a great... Yeah, like I said, there's some slight changes to the sewer if we go down here. I think there's some like extra little platforms that they added. Actually, here's another spot. There used to be... There still is actually in retail. There's a mad one that spawns here, but it doesn't in this version. But yeah, like there's not a huge amount that's different to the map. That platform's not there. That's new. Or old, rather. Oh, actually, here's a good example. I was wrong before, I just remembered. I said, like, there's no Wandering Madnesses. There are. There is one at the end of this. This is a completely useless dead end. In the retail build, but you can see here. There's a Wandering Madness. So there's actually a reason to go here. There isn't in the retail. Hi. Hello, what else is down here? There's like, these enemies are, there's like an executioner here. Here he is. that executioner is like, he's in the retail as well. He's in, by that I mean he's in the retail map data. He's there, they just don't use him. Here's the top floor. There's actually like I don't know if you ever intended to go here, but they did make a top floor with like you can walk on those if you somehow like teleported up there. And out here, there's a new. How did you get my bearings? Yeah. So up here, there's another executioner positioned up here. Basically, where you get the Madman's Knowledge on the way to Gascoigne, there's another executioner. You have to keep imagining I'm like walking through this, but it's so slowly. There we go. That's new. This is interesting actually. One of the things Lance found is that like that corpse had a hunter weapon on it. And when he picked it up, it was this weird combination of like the axe's moveset, but the transformed mode was the rifle spear. And yeah, so I guess you were intended to get a hunter weapon there, and they moved it. Also, there's no big troll enemy there. Yeah, so this is Gascoigne's window. Is there a window? Can I actually delete this and see if there's a... Yeah. Okay, so like... Oh, I wonder if... Yeah, that doesn't look much like a window. Oh no, it is. It's a barred window. Never mind. Yeah. So I think that's kind of it for the map. There's Amygdala, obviously.
Sophie,
Hello.
let me ask you.
Yes.
Is there anyone inside Gascoigne's house?
No. Those they literally can show you. See those little like floating yellow like wireframe meshes. I'll put in front of blue so you can see it. Those are like, this is an event. So basically, if there's ever a window NPC, it'll just render as one of those because it's just like it just says you can talk to this window. There's no model.
Okay.
Lance is actually clipped inside Gascoigne's house and Gilbert's house, and they're just empty.
Oh.
I know. Okay, so here's interesting stuff. Now how we've talked about like the cleric beast used to be in the cathedral, not on the bridge. So it's like, what was on the bridge? Well, there's remnants of what was on the bridge, because you can see there's these two scourge beasts. Right. I think to sort of like ward you away from going in here, and then if you look at the top, there's a Thumerian with a cannon. It's a Thumerian with a cannon pointing down the bridge.
Okay.
And then on the other side of the bridge, if we fly to the other end, there's another cannon. So it's almost like the Anolondo Archers or something?
Yeah.
That like there's no cleric beast. There's a cleric beast on the bridge in this build. But like initially prior to the build there wasn't, and these are left over from that. So it looks like the bridge is just really, really defended. Like it's just full of like scourge beasts and cannons and shit to try to stop you getting through. And like there's the door. This is back when it was actually a door. Because if you play the game now, that door is just a wall with a door painted on it. So it can never ever open. There's no way to do it. But here it's actually a door, and if we go through we can see this is the path you would take to Cathedral Ward. And
so why was everything so defended?
Because the church are under siege. Because Yharnam are trying to kill them.
Oh, so it would have been... Because like when you play the game, you don't necessarily get that feel, because the church seems to be like...
Yeah.
You know, either hiding or like whatever.
Yeah, it looks like they wanted more sort of animosity between the church and Yharnam in the enemy encounters, and they don't do it. Anyway, this is the thing you pass off the giants up here, but because this is only central Yharnam, it stops. There's nothing else we can do. We can actually go. If people are curious what's through the grating. Oh, the cloak beast is here. Actually, I'll just show it. Where are you? Where are you, baby? Here you are. So there's the Cleric Beast. Cleric Beast is just like... The implication in-game is that the Cleric Beast is on the plaza and jumps out, but In terms of where it literally is, it's literally just inside the wall. And when the fight starts, he just jumps out of the wall. Yeah, Cathedral Ward is blocked off. It's very heavily defended. There's actually those you know the stationary guns from the old Hunters that are in the Hunter's Nightmare?
Mm-hmm.
They are in here. They're in there even if you don't have the DLC, and they're all over Cathedral Ward. They're like, the Cathedral Ward is just set up like a bunch of guns everywhere to try to stop you getting in there. So yeah, and you can see like there's multiple gas coins on the bridge. Back from when he was... Back when like he was just on the bridge. Because like early on there's no like summon. There's not a summon system, there's just characters like would show up. So yeah, interesting. And what else is left? I don't think there's really anything new. There's some different enemy placements, but I mean we could be here all day discussing. Let's just fly through here. This is the aqueduct. Hunter's set would be over here. It's not. Let's fly through here. This is in the retail as well. There's a sniper guy at the end of here, behind the pig. So I don't know, like, I guess that also works, like if you imagine you're coming down here and the guy is just shooting at you. They went with the pig in the end, but here. Is the big pit an elevator? No, but I can show you an elevator later on. That's not in any build of Bloodborne except the one that I hacked together from bits and pieces. So this is interesting. This is what I mean about transforming enemies, because these two guys, you'll notice they're the werewolf things. They're the transformed huntsmen in the base game. Here they're just human. And it looks like every sort of human in Central Yharnam has an associated like beast with them that you could swap between. It's all a mess though, because this is pretty late in development, but anyway. So let's pop up here, and the last thing I want to show off, sorry, did it freeze? Good. Phew, I keep freezing. Oh, is the pit there? I'll show you, we'll go down and see if the pit is there. Oh, the pit's not there. Yeah, it's just a little grating. That's interesting. I wonder if they planned something. Yeah, there's no pit, there's just a little grating. Why did they add the pit? What was the point of it? Why did you do that?
Explain yourself.
We're going gold in a month. Is it finished? No, but I had... What have you done, junior level designer? I made a hole. Thank you.
We're trying to stand out and show
Thank you. We're promoting you to director of Elden Ring. So, hang on, let's go. The main thing I want to show off that's really different is that they... Okay, so Lost Protagonist, elevated to Old Yharnam. Keep that in mind when I show off the build that like I sort of hacked together. So, this is obviously where the gas coin is. There he is. What a handsome boy. And, so if we go up here, that's Viola's corpse in the base game, that's Viola's corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Here it's just that. I have no idea if it was Viola's corpse. I don't know if Viola even exists in this build.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go up here. This is the major difference. This is the part where I'm like, oh, that's neat. So you know how like when you go through here, and then there's like the area. It's got water and it's got the chair. It's got the ladder, and the ladder goes up to the study area, right?
Yeah.
It's not here. It's completely different. So we go through. There's like this little stone path. Can I delete these? Oh, okay. Bad idea. There's a stone path. The stone path goes up. And can I delete you? Good. Yeah, so we just get this like it's like a stone pathway. This is where the sort of study area where the note that says like the Bergenworth spider hides the rituals is here. And now it's this. Totally different. Yeah, ladder is definitely for load time. And then like that you can see like the spiral stairs are the same. So basically we can actually look at this from outside because it has no external it's all cold. So if we look at it here, like, there you go.
So what does that mean in terms of the lore or
Nothing.
the game
I
or
don't
where
think
they
it-
were going with
Well,
this?
like last protagonist is saying, it's a ladder though. It's a loading thing, and like I'm pretty sure that's true because
Okay.
pretty much all the major differences we have found seem to correspond to something that loads wrong. Like I'll fly back because
Okay.
we're basically done. I'll fly back and show you what I mean. So bridgy, and this way. Yeah, the PS4 Eugenio is like, the PS4 is going to melt. I'm like, yeah, so imagine my fucking like off-the-shelf laptop that I used to write books on.
Yeah.
It's not great at this. So
No.
what I mean is like, if you pop down here, like if you imagine we're going through, there's no door. If we imagine the door is accessible, what would happen is you would be able to go like, you could walk along the bridge. To what direction am I facing? It's like, I do like the vaporwave aesthetic, but it gets a little confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you imagine we're walking along Cathedral Ward, walking along Central Yharnam, and then this area here. This is like the sort of buffer that gets you from Central Yharnam to Cathedral Ward by going through here. The problem is it didn't load fast enough. Like Lance has shown me this. What would happen is this area just wouldn't be there if you were sort of fast enough. If you just bolted down the bridge, there's nothing here, and you fall through the map and disappear.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that door is never accessible, because they couldn't get Cathedral Ward to load fast enough.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure like the number of like very long ladders that they added later on are just to give it time, because you can't sprint up a ladder. So it sort of funnels you into like having to go down it in a certain way, having to travel at a certain like low speed to get there. So yeah, that's kind of it. From memory, like Eileen was here, but I think Eileen's gone in the network test. That's the corpse that had the Blood Hunter of Gremia set on it that we now know is I think it's the Tomb Prospector set or Dura set, I can't remember. But yeah, pretty much very, very the same. Yeah, you can, True Legends. You can absolutely screw up the game by just going too fast, because nothing loads fast enough. And Sony were very, very... Yeah, that happened to me, Eugenio. Like, I've bolted through Cathedral Ward and ended up in like a place where there's nothing, just like a white void. Because it just doesn't work. So that's, as far as I can... I've not exhaustively looked at this because I've only really had it for a couple of days, but there we go. That's Central Yharnam. So now I'll show off what we called... Someone was saying like, show the hunter ball, and I was like, what's the hunter? Did they mean like a ball, like a masquerade ball? And then I realized, no, they mean the little thing I made. So this was shown off. This is on a stream that we did, but I'll stream it again here because people didn't really watch that stream, so I'll just add it again. Where are we going? So who recognizes this? This is when I keep saying like I hacked together a build. So this is a very, very, very old map of Yharnam. This is when I talked about like getting data out of Hemwick. This is a very low poly map that exists inside of Hemwick from back when they were first working on the game, and it is like, it's not like low poly Yharnam. It's not like a distance model. It's an old layout. It's completely different. I think they were using it to like test how you progress through the game, like an iterative thing. So this is Cathedral Ward from what I can tell. And I showed this off on stream, so I'm gonna... So what I did was I extracted it and I just made it into a model that had collision and put it in this 3D engine. And this little green ball is our character. I put a hunter hat on them so we knew what it was. I can infinitely fly. I just made myself. I can just jump in midair forever. And I'll start where I think we would have started. So
Super cute ball.
we'd start over here. We also have the ability to turn into a Bruitus by pressing enter. And that lets us...
That is the most beautiful thing in the world.
that turns off clipping. So
Oh.
you can also, like, I've got camera movement. I stuck the it's a 2D hat that I just pasted on the screen, so it's not great, but
Oh, Eugenio posted something in Discord.
oh, okay, I'll look at it in a second when we're done with this. Yeah.
I'll actually paste the image to you.
Okay.
And
oh, cool. I'll show that to Meph. That's really interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let's go back to Bloodborne, Bloodborne, Celestial Hacker Girl Jessica crossover. So, this is basically from what I did this before. I think I figured out the progression part. So you go through here. You have this like long windy straight. And you can see like this, it's not like totally no detail, it has like ladders and stuff. Should bring us out here. And this brings us to a locked door. So I'm assuming when we played the game we couldn't go through there. So I think what we would do is, there is a little pathway over to the side. If we follow this pathway around, we reach like, there's a path here we can go through, and you can see like there's like little boxes and things in here. I think we can I change my there's some, was it space that did it? Was it escape that did it? Okay, good. I have first person mode. So I wrote my own movement engine. It's not very good. I just wanted to get this out quickly. So you can see here there's like all this stuff. There's like all these little boxes. I don't know what this is, like a storage room or something. If we go through here, we have to clip through some of the walls. It doesn't quite work. This is like the worst FPS I've ever played. There we go. Come out. Good. So you can see there's this whole fully modeled little area here. And it leads to... basically it leads out of this place here. Just go into a Bruitus mode and click through everything. So, yeah. It leads out and it leads along the rooftops. If we follow it along the rooftops, it loops back around to the other side of the gate. So I'm guessing that, like, based on what we know about Miyazaki's design philosophy, is like, you go through, the gate's locked, and then you take the side path around, and like something, you can even see there's like a little ladder leading down. There's probably something here that would have opened the gate so that when you then respawned on the other side of the gate, back there, you could just run straight through. And the thing is, like, I just gave everything collision. So if there's like a door, you can't go through the door because it just renders the door as solid. But you can sort of see, like, okay, like that's clearly a door. It's like a little rectangle poking out. It's separate from the rest of the map. It's a door, but we can't open it. So go here, and this would have been like a fountain or a burning beast or something. So here's the bridge. So here's what I wanted to discuss when Last Protagonist was saying, like, elevator, elevator. Is the pig thing an elevator? This is quite clearly an elevator. It's just a big, big elevator shaft which we can pop down. Now, I won't show it off right now because I want to show off the progression path. But like, you can see this little elevator actually connects to the bottom. So I'll show you how I think this would have worked if we just fly back up again. So what I think would have happened is you would continue past here. Let's get ourselves a bit of a different view. We continue past here. There's lots of little trees here, interestingly, because Yharnam doesn't have many trees in it as it is now. And we go into this area here. Now, I've been calling this area the factory, because if we go up, you can see it has these three big, like, I'm assuming they're smokestacks. There's these three big, like, cylinders that poke out the top, and I assume they're smokestacks. I don't know what else they could be. It just makes, like, presumably Yharnam had, like, a factory in it at some point. Like a big sort of, like, Victorian, like, smoke-belching, dark satanic mill. And if we pop through here, we can see that, like the other area, this is all modeled. Like, we can actually move around it. It's got, like, all these little pathways, got little windows and galleries and things. Yeah, it is a bit like I think the orphanage design is like a remnant of this. Like, they wanted like a big smoke belching thing and it turned into another kind of building. But yeah, look at this. Like, this actually has like multiple pathways and stairs, and it's really nice. Like, they actually made it. Like, this is made. You can move around this. And yeah, this has a little path out the side. If we take the path around the side, and again, like, it even has a little, like, there's a balcony here. We could have like popped out and then, like, you know, gone down here again. So this is all like, yeah, this is fully explorable building, some sort of factory. Not quite clear what it was. Let's just assume that this led us down somewhere else. I don't know how you exactly would have gotten down here. Let's go through here. And this connects to the... Oh yeah, here's the front of the... Okay, yeah, so this is... Again, this is very, very reminiscent of the orphanage in a lot of ways, as you can see, like, there's just a door that goes out. Maybe you would have been able to, like, suicide run through there. I don't know. So, let us go out here. And this connects to... There's like a sort of... I'm calling it the aqueduct. I don't know exactly. It's like a canal or something. They say aqueduct in game, but like it's over here. So this is like a big deal sort of like... It's like this... I'm assuming it's a canal, because if you look at, like, it's very, very regular. Like, it looks like it was made. Looks like it's supposed to be stone. And it has, like, along the sides, these little like you can go inside. There's like ladders and stuff. You can like follow the ladders up and they take us to places. You can see there clearly, like, that's a door that's opened outward. Yeah, you could, like, last protagonist saying that's kind of like Gascoigne's house. Like, a lot of this is like, it's kind of like something, but it's also not. You can see they've like the concept has sort of been refashioned into something else. And you can like wander around. I think the idea would have been, like, again, looking at like Dark Souls level designy stuff. Okay, RubyX, this area is something that, like, I showed off the raw, like, OBJ file once because I dug it up. But this is the first... I streamed it another time, but, like, this is the second time I've shown it off. It's on the channel somewhere else. But you can see, like, that lift thing would have connected back to this canal area. And then the canal area leads to this little, like... These go up, and there's like a castle, or it's almost like the clinic, like a mansion here. But this is like, because it's just this part of the game, I don't have like the interior. When we pop out again, like it clearly like went somewhere else. And like those stairs, they loop around. There's a path, and the path goes here. And when we take the path, we end up in we end up in Cathedral Ward. Like, we're looking up at the astral clock now. So you can see, like, there's actually a fairly robust, like, design there. Where you start off, you unlock the gate, you go past the lift, you go to the canal. In the canal, you unlock the lift, and then the lift takes you down to that, like, mansion area, and the mansion takes you to Cathedral Ward. So it all sort of, like, lines up and works. Like, even in the Cathedral Ward area, like, there's, like, doors and things you can go through. You can see there's a lot of this stayed the same, roughly. Like, here's sort of, that's kind of like where Ariana is. You just sort of take the path through to pop out here. So in terms of Cathedral Ward, this is... That, I think, is the workshop. Because what it does is... oh, no, it's not, sorry. That, I think, that is like the tower on the side of Erdon Chapel. And you follow it along, it takes you to... This is the workshop. This is the workshop. Or where the workshop is now, anyway. And you can see you pop through it. This is, like, pretty much unchanged, in a sense. This is, like the Radiant Sword Hunter badge would be here, the wheelchair guy with the flame spray is here, and then you pop through and it takes you to the bridge. There's the bridge. And the bridge connects back to Upper Cathedral Ward. So this is where the Celestial Lava would be, and if we look up, there we are. We're basically there. So this is how you get there, and like, because this is an incomplete map. The orphanage is gone, Upper Cathedral Ward's gone, but the part that connects back is still here. So, like, the orphanage would be here. This is where, like, after you got the orphanage key, you go up here, you go up, and then, like, this is the bridge where the Little Celestial is. And then where we're standing now is Lumen Flower Gardens. So let's go. This is the last place I want to show off, because you can see, like, this map is in pieces, and the only two pieces that survive to the retail are these two. I sort of stitched them back together again. And that shows off... It's basically Central Yarnum and Cathedral Ward. We'll fly back up here. Go inside the cathedral. You can see again, like, here's the big staircase that leads up there. What's interesting is, like, it's slightly off. It's not, like, very well aligned. See, it's, like, off slightly, like, pokes out the top. It's, like, weird. So this is where we go up. This is the door to the Grand Cathedral. It's obviously not there at the moment because I'm in the model view, but I'm gonna... This app is called Very Old Yarnum, by the way. I made this. So here is where Vicar Amelia is. So there's the altar. And like I mentioned before that Lance figured out that there is something, like the altar was a lift early on, which is something we'd long suspected. It is in there, so it's hard to actually get a good look at it, but like we're inside the altar now, so if we just rise up, you can see, like, it's the thing about 3D, because it tends to, like, if something's not going to be rendered, it doesn't have a side, if that makes sense. So like we're inside it now, even though we can see out of it, but you have to imagine we're actually surrounded by brick. So we rise out the top, and then you can see if we go out of Bruitus mode, there's actually a little spot at the top. This would have been where we came out. This is like the top of the elevator shaft. So like if you imagine like the Research Hall DLC, this is basically the top of that. This is where you would pop out, and then there'd be a castle behind here that's gone now. The other thing I want to show off is if we go all the way down, there's also something under here. We can go under the cathedral. There we go. There's a space under it. Yeah, so You know how there's like the altar in the intro that shows like the hunter underground, and there's like Lawrence's skull on the altar?
Yeah.
I think this might have been down there because it sort of like makes sense because it's a human skull on the altar in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And like here, it looks like that the altar would go down and connect to something that's underground, like a more complex underground area. And you can see there's like little pillars and things down here. But yeah, that's kind of it. Just a bunch of random crap. Yeah, here's another example. If we sort of like go over here, you can see there's a bunch of like doors over here and platforms that connected to something, but I don't know what. But like I think there'll be a build that has the whole thing. I know Lance has like said he's seen the whole thing. I know it exists. I don't know where though. Anyway, here's the clock. It's been there since the beginning. It's like a really big deal. They love that clock, so let's just look down. This is Yharnam. Go into Bruitus mode. That's so you can see where we went. So I'll use the pointy thing. So we would have started there. You go down the street. From the factory, you go down into the canal. Canal loops back around to that house I'm pointing at now with the 3 tops, and then that connects to Cathedral Ward. So that seems to be how we would have gotten in there initially. Yeah, the elevator entrance. I don't know if the elevator entrance is in this because it's quite old. Like, I looked there. It's possible this is the elevator entrance. The thing is, like, this doesn't have Lumen Flower Gardens in it. So we can, like, go in. This is where the elevator would be. It would take you out here, but, like, I think there's a version there's a version that has it because I've seen it. Someone modded it into GTA. That is there, but it doesn't seem to be in this version. Yeah, Last Protagonist just said it's in the GTA version. Yeah, the GTA version is more recent and more detailed than this. This is very, very old. This is still in. If anyone out there like wants to look into the retail build, this is still in there. It's in Hemwick. It's like a Hemwick asset that I dug up. So yeah, you can have a look. See, it's a lot. The annoying thing is like all the really cool cut stuff is in Hemwick. And it's not in Cathedral Ward or Central Yarn because they made those later. But Hemwick just has like, they were just testing assets that's got like straight up like Demon Souls, Knights and things in it that ended up not being in there. Yeah. It's a little aerial view of, get an aerial view of the canal. Where is it? Be over here. See, there's the canal area. So you can see, like, I'm pretty sure the purpose of the canal area was that you had to, there's like a point where there's very clearly supposed to be some sort of bridge. Here. So like, I'm fairly sure that the design of this area involved you, like, opening. This was probably a bridge because you can see it like it juts out and there's a gap in the middle. So I suspect like you would have to open that bridge to cross the canal. And you can see like down here there's like a ladder, so maybe you crossed it and you went down here. But like again, like if you look at, there's areas in this game that you sort of can play backwards and forwards. So I think that they probably like, I don't know what order you did things in, but you can sort of see how it lines up. And there's like this area here that's kind of underground. And I don't know if this is like, how much of this you're supposed to go to, because this is missing. And like, yeah, there's like you can see there's like, yeah, there's like stairs in here. And they go up and they go through here, but they don't really go... They don't lead anywhere, because I think this... Like, whenever you see a big gap, it's because, like, that's probably another area, because this is just two areas stuck together. So the thing about Project Beast being different is, like, I think the Eldritch stuff was always there, but it was there in the way it was there in Demon Souls. Where it's like, there's this cosmic horror in the background of, like, a fantasy story. And I think this is the same thing. I don't think they added that later on, because it's so... It's already part of Demon Souls. Like, the old one, and, like, the... all the other random crap in that game, like, that's very, very... And, like, the mind flayers and everything, and what the old monk is doing, and the search for forbidden knowledge and everything, like, that's already there. It's just, like... It probably wasn't as... I think probably it would have been the very, very end of the game. That's the impression I get, is that, like... The Eldritch stuff would have been, like, the absolute climax, but now it's introduced sort of at the halfway point of Byrgenwerth. I don't know. But, like, Miyazaki, like, is a Lovecraft dude. Like, he likes it. It's not like it's something he... I don't think he added it that late. I think it was just a question of emphasis. So, there we go. I think that's about everything.
Oh.
Yeah, Nightmare Frontier, I think, was the end of the game. I actually suspect Altar of the Old Ones is where, what's it called? Where Amygdala is now. Because there's an old map that calls that, it's like the Altar of the Diseased. And then it looks like a stone circle, like kind of like Stonehenge, like where you fight Storm King. So I suspect it was probably the end of the game, and then they just made it more and more sort of enmeshed into the world as they designed it. Hunter Ball, Hunter Ball. I love Hunter Ball.
Hunter Ball. Very cute.
Yeah. Anyway.
I guess that's about it.
That's about it. Sin, do the outro.
That was Bloodborne Alpha Data stuff. And green ball that turns into a Brutus. Oh my god, Sophie, I just had a vision.
Mm-hmm.
A Brutus, but then the Brutus says moon power and turns into Sailor Moon Brutus.
How many artists are currently listening? I'm a little worried. Oh,
Sophie,
yes.
And if people want to find content that's similar to this but worse, where would they go?
This channel. Also, Patreon.
Specifically.
Okay, so when I said I streamed this before...
Yeah, because Sophie, also, for the record, stuff that's on the channel is good.
Mm.
It's the page. Oh, what was that? What was that? Are we going to have a problem? This is like your second day on the job, and you're giving me attitude. Continue.
So, like, when I said I'd streamed this before, I streamed 5 days in a row, and this was the 5th day. If you want to see the other 4 days, they are on Patreon. And a lot of other things are on Patreon. We have, like, I think hundreds and hundreds of videos on Patreon.
Sorry, thank you, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
Danny just donated a couple of rounds.
Thank you.
Aww. Yeah, we have... Sorry, continue.
We have, like, hundreds and hundreds of things on Patreon.
Yeah, like, literally.
Literally, that's not a joke.
No.
I don't... There's a saying about quantity and quality. But, like, you know, odds are there'll be something decent there.
Yeah, okay, also, like, people seem to like Enemies of Bloodborne. Yeah. It originated on Patreon.
That's true.
It was supposed to be a Patreon-only thing, but then patrons were like, this content is good, it shouldn't be on Patreon.
That's true,
So we picked the best episodes and put them on YouTube. So... Yeah.
Oh, one more thing I almost forgot to show off is, there are people here. They're so funny looking. Wait, let's look. That is a person. Hang on. That's a person. It's sort of hard to make out because of the shading, but like, these are people. It's like a little Minecraft person. There's a bunch of them.
Oh,
Oh, thank you, Humble Gamer.
thank you.
I mean, I have like legitimately been very worried lately about where things will end up going, but people seem okay. Okay, yeah, so there's little people here. They're like little Minecraft people. I don't know what the point of them is. I think that might just be for scale.
Oh.
I think they are for scale, actually. That would make sense. Because you can see, like, they're not articulated. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway, there we go. That was an adventure.
Yeah, it sure was.
Yeah.
Oh, as per tradition, so I'm gonna go on Patreon and pick an unlisted video to put here.
Okay.
Oh, maybe one of the recent ones.
Okay.
Like we did Hunter A and Hunter B.
Yeah.
I'll post Hunter B. That's
okay.
the one where we talk more about the Hunter.
It's the least incriminating one, yeah.
Let me just find it. What? No. Okay, enemies of Bloodborne. Also, I feel like every piece of like social media or whatever is against me, because like YouTube's playlists are not optimal for our content, and you can't put them all in the front page, and we have like 30 playlists.
Yeah.
And on Patreon, they kind of have playlists that don't work on cell phone. And then, so to me, and sometimes things don't load, so I have to make my own type of like bootleg playlists and posts. Takes a while to sort through. Okay, so it's actually 57B. Huntsman. And
keep in mind that's enemy of Bloodborne 57B. It's not video 57B.
No, it's just enemy.
There's 57 different videos, each detailing a different enemy.
Yeah. So we also have, but that's not on Patreon. That's on the regular channel. We also have a 5-hour analysis of Katekyo Hitman Reborn Season 1.
Fuck you. I mean, good.
Good. So what I just posted is the video that's normally on Patreon. So bookmark it so you can access it later because it's unlisted. So it will be in your bookmarks if you bookmark it.
That is fine.
Yeah. Wait, where the hell does a Toblerone cost $10? Well, yeah, the not the super big one, but the medium big one is $10. Like the super big one is like, I don't know, 20 or 30. Like the little ones are probably a couple of dollars. But like legit Toblerones are $10. We measure donations in Toblerone. By the way, thank you, Humble Gamer.
Sin's been visiting her boyfriend's parents. And they live in the forest, and I've been subjected to a lot of Sin in the middle of the night, going like,
oh, no.
There's no alcohol here! I'm hungry!
I was also telling Sophie how I was doing very feminine things, such as pulling out trees by the roots, because I was helping boyfriend's parents like clear out a road.
No, it was fun. I found it! I found some Midori! I can't open it! That's okay, I hit it!
I tried opening it by hitting it, and it didn't work.
No, it didn't. Okay, so I think that's it. It's 2:28 p.m. here, so I'll head off because it's 2:30 and I gotta go to shopping. So.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Sophie.
Thank you, Sin, and thank you everyone who showed up.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening and for coming, and we'll see you all next time, which will be pretty soon, sometime next week when we release the Elden Ring episode, bingo. The Elden Ring bingo.
Elden Ringo.
Ringo, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, everyone.